So I have a question for you. How often do you feel overwhelmed? Right? We're going to talk all about this. Is it maybe 2 times a day? Is it from the second you wake up to the second that you go to bed? How often do you feel that weight of I should do this, this, or this, right? Are you someone that lays in bed at night and just goes over all the list of things that you did not accomplish or you should have done better, or do you feel guilty for taking time for yourself and not getting something else done? And then we start the comparison game. Well, so and so down the street, or my sister, or someone online keeps a clean house, gets all this done, manages work, does better with her kids, has a beautiful, perfect marriage. I don't know what it is. The comparison game can be terrible and a dark hole that we tend to go down sometimes. And then the negative self-talk, more noise in our head. It just is a layer and a layer and a layer of what's wrong with me? Why can't I get it all done? And then our self-worth takes a hit. And then guess what? The next day we show up even worse and we're even harder on ourselves. And the thing is, I finally realized, because this is the life I lived for a long time after having my 4 kids, is that I was responsible, right, for one thing. And with my kids, they will remember how I make them feel. And that can be taken really to anywhere, your job, your spouse, interactions you have with somebody at a store, right? People will remember how you make them feel. And that's what's going to stand out probably more than anything. And I had this epiphany with my kids. I share this story all the time of like with my youngest daughter when I snapped at her for the billionth time over something so stupid because I was at my wit's end. And she looked up at me with that look on her face. And I realized in that moment, this is all she's going to care about, how she feels around her mom. And that scared me to death. Like, they're not going to sit around my kids in 15 years and talk about, oh, mom was so skinny. She weighed 150 pounds. That doesn't matter to them. What matters is how they feel around you, right? And that's when I thought, I have to stop this. Like, it stops today. I don't want this life anymore. It's so heavy for me to carry. I beat myself up all day. I show up in a terrible manner and not necessarily all day, right? We have moments where we slip in and out, but it's always there. But it's not getting any better. Where's the relief in the end of sight, right? So for any of you that struggle with that, because we all have a lot of hats we wear sometimes, I realize we're in different chapters of our lives and someone handles stress differently than someone else. But if you have noise in your head at all, whether it's beating yourself up, negative self-talk, comparison game, or your to-do list is just drowning, I'm here to tell you, I see you. And I mean that. Your feelings of whatever you're feeling are valid. Because whatever you're feeling is valid. Nobody can tell you otherwise. There is not a reason or a justification. They're just your feelings and they're valid. So, with this, please, please, number one, as we talk about this stuff tonight, number one, we more than anything have to step back and stop comparing to anybody else. Maybe you don't have a problem with that. That's fantastic. I'd love to know what you did to overcome it. But we have no idea what the next door neighbor is doing, or even your sister, and especially someone online that chooses to post the very best of every single day, right? Nobody's got a sign on their front door and in their yard on the back of their car saying, hey, today sucks. This is what I did not do well, right? And there's a long list of things we can talk about. Like, I haven't cleaned my toilet in 5 years. I haven't shaved my legs in 10 years, right? I don't like fixing dinner. I go through the McDonald's drive-thru at night. We all have a long list. I've just made all those up of things that we don't want people to know because it's how we cope to get through every day when we feel very overloaded. We don't share those things, right? We just say, oh, here's all the great things that I'm doing. Or we say nothing and we suffer in silence. So I want to share with you how I overcame almost all of this because I had my breaking point a few years ago. 6 years ago? My gosh. The more I tell the story, it's like more years pass. With my daughter, you guys have heard this very briefly. I was cranky and irritable a good portion of the day. Like the second half of the day, I just checked out. The magnitude of what I needed to get done and accomplish was so overwhelming. And I didn't have any sort of healthy eating. I didn't move, so there was no self-care. I was just very overwhelmed. And she did something very simple that was not a big deal, and I snapped, right? One of those moments where the mom guilt haunts you for a while. And she looked up at me. I always cry every time I tell this dang story. You guys have heard this before. Um, Looked up at me like, what did I do this time? And in that moment, I knew I don't care how hard it is, what it costs, how long it takes. I have to get my crap together. I need to figure out why I feel this way, what's wrong, how to show up better. Because I think as a woman, we tend to focus on the body. right? Like I just thought, well, I'm cranky because I'm overweight. I'd put on like 25 pounds in a short period of time, like a year. And that was a lot for me. I ate whatever, no movement, like I said. And so I just kept thinking, and I kept feeling crappier as the year went on also. And I just kept thinking, oh, it's the weight. If the number on the scale changes, I'll be back to me. I won't be cranky. I'll feel better. I'll show up better, right? But then I realized in that moment, it's not the number on the scale. My kids are not going to be sitting around 20 years from now at a campfire saying, hey, you know how awesome mom is? She weighed 160 pounds. Can you believe that? We have the best mom on the planet. They don't care what we weigh. They don't care how skinny we are. They don't care any of that. The people I care about the most do not care. You want to know what I realized she cared about? She cared about how she felt around me. And in that moment, my gosh, I realized I was failing and I needed to show up better. And I felt like crap. I needed to show up better for me, right? So that everyone around me felt better. And so that's when I realized, like, I got to start from the beginning. So I want to share with you some of the things that I did to course correct, to be someone that now does not attach an emotion or my worth even more, because this all comes down to your worth, right? To anything that I do, literally. And it's been my saving grace. So these are all things I do with my one-on-one coaching, and I thought, okay, these are things I need to share with you guys. Um, and I've written them all down. So number one, stop comparing. You're not comparing to anything that is even remotely like you. They do not have your genetics. They do not have your life. They do not have your spouse. They do not have your children. Maybe you have health issues. Maybe you have behavioral issues. Maybe you're in an unhappy marriage. Maybe you got parents living with you. Maybe you're single, right? No one can compare the situation to mine. I've got 4 kids, age 14 to 22. I have 3 that live with me, and I've been single for 3 years as I asked for a divorce that literally destroyed me. It was awful. It took me 3 years, literally till recently, to come out of like a coma of living for the last couple years because it was too much for me to process. And I still had to show up. And now I have to take care of a yard, the house maintenance, and provide for every bill when I was not the breadwinner. It's been life altering, right? But I show up online and I share my positivity with you guys, but you don't know the hell I'm living in. Nobody shares what they're really going through. Um, it's just not our natural state, right? We have a few people we share it with. I had family that helped me, and I'm in a good place now. Like finally, I'm in a better place, right? And so we just don't share those things. And so if we all had a long list of our hurts and pains, right? I think it would be helpful, but we just don't do that. So don't compare yourself. And I mean that. And again, if you guys need help with this, like these are things I help my clients with every single day, having done it and done it with many, many clients. So, number one, no one has it together. That's like the theme. And if they do, there's something they're overlooking because nobody's perfect. Nobody's home is perfect because we cannot control ways too many things. Number two, you have to set realistic expectations. And this is something that I struggled with because I am like a type A, get it all done. I volunteer for everything. I have no boundaries. I am the yes, please, like sure, sure, yes. And I'm literally drowning inside. And so I had to have my come to moment where it's like, I can't do this anymore. So when I stepped back and I looked, what can run without me? And in this place right now, the biggest priority is getting myself in a place of peace and of understanding where I really, like, what do I really want to do? Like, ask yourself, like, these are good homework assignments. Ask yourself and spend some time brain dumping. What do I really want to do? Am I doing what I want to do? Do I spend my day how I want to do it? Am I most productive with what I really want to get do? Am I productive or am I busy? And there are two very big differences, which we'll talk about. And do I want to volunteer for every single assignment at the school for my kids? No, like I like to be there with my kids, but I can't. I'm a single mom. I'm running a yard, a house, a business that doesn't stop. Like I physically can't volunteer for everything. You don't have to. I'm literally telling you, give me permission, say no. Because they'll probably always think, why does she always say yes? Like, I don't always say yes. And when you say no, they'll be like, thank you finally for saying no, because I feel bad having you come back in again, but we'll take your help. It is amazing when I started saying no to some things, and then you feel like you have to explain it, give an example of why you can't do it. And it's just not. It's just like, hey, I don't have the capacity to do that right now, but somebody else could give you a better job or more effort. Or right now, I just can't do that. Whatever you want to say. I don't want to do it, right? Whatever you want to say, but it's the ability of looking at what can I accomplish today, at a week glance, at a month glance, and then don't go any further because you have no idea your emotions or what's going to happen in the next 4 weeks. And when I could sit down and say realistic expectations for this week, what can I get done? And then I broke them up into like I view everything as a data point. So I want to talk about that with like non-negotiables because we have different categories and I realize we're all in a different situation, right? I have more to do living here by myself, right? I have to maintain the whole yard, the maintenance, the cleaning, the dinners, the homework, the assignments, everything. So if you have someone else living with you, that's great because you can assign and separate different things. That takes the load off. Even someone laying it, next to you at night and you can talk about your day helps take that load and stress off. So you might have someone helping you, you might be like me by yourself. You might have aging parents, right? You may have a whole house full of kids. We're all different, but it still applies. You have buckets. So I have like a cleaning house bucket. I have my work bucket. I have, quality time with my family bucket. Break that up into either spouse or children or whatever. I have my community bucket. I'm very big on service and volunteering, whether that's my church or my school system or anything, right? And then you've got a bucket for you for self-care, to shave your legs if you want to focus on health and fitness. So each of these are different buckets. So take a minute and write down, what are the important things to you? What are your buckets? And then every day look at, there's no balance. That was something very like it was a huge epiphany I had. There's no balance. They're not supposed to be balanced because my service at my community school is not as important as my time one-on-one with my kids or the amount of time I need to put into my job to pay all these bills. They're not supposed to be equal. So on a pie chart, there's going to be different. And you need to decide, where does your time and mental fortitude go in which categories? And you may decide out of 7 days, right? Because if you want to look at a week glance, out of 7 days, what do I want to volunteer at the school? Okay, I'm awake how many hours? That's a good way to look at it. So like calculate, you all sleep a different amount. On average, take your 7 days every night, how many hours you get, divide it by 7, that's your average. Out of my average hours, write it all out. What do I want to do? Right? What do I want to do? Let's say, I don't know, let's say if you're a great sleeper, you've got 16 hours a day. And out of those 16 hours, where do you want to spend them? Chart it out. So out of 7 days with 16 hours a day, how many of those do you need to be at the school? And are you doing it to please somebody or are you doing it because you really need to be there and it's actually helpful, right? We have lots of reasons we volunteer and we say yes. So that's a good internal dialogue for you of like, why am I doing this, right? And practice. You will get better at saying no once you see, I only have 16 hours or more or less. Where does it go? And so then you take out how many you have to work, right? Cut that out. And then it's like, great, my kids are only awake for 4 hours. They have activities, right? You're going to serve and run them around like crazy. You're going to help with homework. You're just going to spend quality time. Great, that's this many hours. Then how many hours is left for spouse time or running errands or you have an event that night or another work meeting, right? It goes and goes and goes. Go visit parents, like all the buckets and then cleaning. Maybe you don't work and you have way more hours a day to spread this out, and that's fantastic. I stayed home for 15 years, so my day was very different then. I could accomplish almost everything versus now, where 8 hours of my day plus are at work. And then come home and, yard work and I just spread a little more thin. And that's okay. It's not a complaint, but my to-do list is long. So I have to look at my little pie charts of how many hours of what do I want to give and do an assessment. Where is all my time going? And then when you can step back and say, I don't have time to volunteer at all. Like I can do maybe one time out of a month because the rest of the hours need to be spent somewhere different. You have to prioritize the you bucket. Your health and fitness to some degree is going to make all of this easier. That means your sleep. That means eating in the way you should, because what made me snap and was terrible was my amount of sugar. I snapped throughout the day. I ate out. I don't drink alcohol, but I had soda. I had a lot of carbs and I had a lot of sugar. I kind of snacked my way through the day. I wasn't super aware of protein. I didn't really prioritize it. It was like a meat with a meal and that was it. And then a lot of high fatty foods. So I considered my body like a garbage disposal. I didn't really think what anything did, but every single food or drink item you put in your mouth will do something to your body for the good or worse and some neutral. And so that's okay if you don't know that. That's why we teach and why we're here and why I coach. Like I'll help you understand what that is. But we've got to regulate what we're eating because you can look at all the other buckets, but none of that will get done if you feel like crap. And the foods I ate made me feel like crap. The lack of movement made me feel like crap. And then I put on more weight, right? And that cycle even became worse with the negative self-talk. So that bucket of self-prioritization, you have to allot time every single day. And everything will run smoother when you do. So I'm telling you, I'm giving you permission. I'm asking and begging you because it took me till I was almost 40 to feel like I could even take a shower and shave my legs. Both legs, not even just one, right? It was just like, I don't have time. Or my kids would come in or they'd lean over the shower door still talking to me or, oh my gosh, like millions of the phones ringing. I should be doing this. I should be doing that. There's no should. that word's off the table, right? We're deciding we have the power of how we're going to spend our day because this will all quiet the noise and that to-do list. And so you may look at and say, okay, I'm going to give myself an hour every day to clean. Great. So in each of these buckets, you have non-negotiables now. So with those non-negotiables, maybe you give yourself one non-negotiable in each of the buckets if you've got quite a few. If you're like, nope, today it's just going to be work and it's just going to be a little bit of self-care, right? And maybe cleaning. So with cleaning, I mean, I look around my house, everything could be redone. Literally everything. Swept, mopped, dishes, bathrooms, organization with the mail pile, redo the garage, like clean out my car. The list is drowning, and I can't be the only one. Come up with a non-negotiable. What is it that bugs you the most? Like literally makes your skin prickle or you lay in bed at night stressing over why that's not done. Like it can affect your whole mood. That is your non-negotiable always. So the next day, that is the only thing in the house I want you to prioritize because the rest of it can wait. You don't have to get it all done, right? Because the magnitude of feeling too much is going to paralyze you and you're not going to do any of it. And that's going to build mentally. So non-negotiable, for cleaning the house, maybe it's like, you know what bothers me is every time I walk into the bathroom here on the main floor, which I use a few times a day, I'm embarrassed if somebody comes by, it needs to be cleaned. So when you're laying in bed at night, come up with your list of non-negotiables and write them down. And then you come up with a plan and set a time, because you've got your 16-hour window now, set a time of when you're going to do it. And you keep it like an appointment. You don't miss a hair appointment. You don't miss a luncheon with friends, right? These things have to be non-negotiables for you. And so it's almost like we tell our kids, like, yeah, you can have a treat if you have something healthy. You can go play with friends, play in a, I don't know, game, whatever gaming system you have, if you get a chore done. We almost have to give ourselves that same incentive of like, just until it's a habit after doing it for a little while. Because here's the deal is you got two pain points. The pain point of having the bathroom messy and dirty and apprehensive if people come by or you hate entering it because it just reminds you that it's not done, right? Pick whatever you're thinking of, but the bathroom does it for me. Or right? So that pain point of knowing it's terrible and it needs to be done, right? You can live with that. Or it's what you got to remember, the flip side of that is once you take the time to just do it, the feeling of clarity and clearness in your head, that's going to free up minutes and minutes and minutes, if not more, every day that you would have spent worrying about that. And you don't have to anymore. So when we can get the biggest thing that's troubling us, even if it takes us a while to get done, or you have to space it over a few days, get the hardest thing off your list. But the beauty is you don't have to do anything else. I don't care if you go through Little Caesars Pizza for every night that week. I don't care if the dishes pile up. I don't care if your bed's not made. Like the rest of the chore bucket doesn't need to happen until this is done, right? Because I mean, there's maintenance you can stay up with, but my point is we're always going to feel like we have to do everything, but the one thing, the non-negotiable must get done. And then you lay in bed and you feel a sense of confidence and relief because the only thing you told yourself should get done, right? We're not going to say anymore because now it's a choice. It doesn't matter what didn't get done. So I'm not even thinking about the floor not being vacuumed to the pile of mail. Doesn't matter. Wasn't my negotiable for today. And it frees up so much brain space. Then the next day, you decide, which bothers me the most. And you'll actually get more done over time. And then that peace that it creates in your head with the less beating yourself up and noise of I should, you're lazy, get up, do this, everyone else can do it, will dissipate. So in every one of those categories, same with health and fitness. If you are not currently working out 5 days a week, but you want to, don't give yourself the goal of 5 days a week. If you only get one day in, then your goal is 2 days. And for as long as it is for that to be easy, and then you increase to 3 days. And that might take you months to get used to 3. You have to become somebody different. You have to change your identity to someone that exercises without any question 3 days a week. Right now, your current identity might be that you only exercise 1 day a week. You're not just changing a workout time or telling yourself you're going to do it. If you could be doing it, you'd be doing it. It's changing your identity. That is not easy or fast. But long-lasting results and silencing the noise in your head has taken me years because I focus on a thing. If you aren't great at protein but know that you need it and you're at maybe 50 grams a day, then you work on 60 grams. Because again, if you could be eating more, you would. And we have to change you as a person that now naturally hits 140 grams without even thinking about it because you schedule your day around it. You understand it and it's part of you. So that's the bucket of health, right? Choosing me. Maybe it's 10 minutes of meditation in a closed room. It can be anything. And then as you start to get these things actually checked off your list and you can manage your day better and your time, then you actually open and create more space and time because things get done and you're going to feel better about yourself and that empowered feeling instead of being overwhelmed and there's too much to do because I got 3 things to do, one for each of my 3 buckets. That clears up so much. This takes time though, but the more you do it, that rush and that feeling of confidence because you don't have the negative voices and you're so proud that one thing got done is addicting and you're going to want to do more and more of it. Remember, as we wrap up here, We need to focus, and this is something literally I spend so much time with my one-on-one clients going over individuals points, is there's not an emotional attachment to getting things done. There's not. It's just a task. You don't suck. You're not terrible. Don't feel guilty. If something didn't get done, it didn't get done. Do not beat yourself up. That goes for the same if you don't hit your protein, you didn't get your walk in, you didn't get your workout in, the scale's gone up. They're data points. So this was so crucial to my mental health when I could cut the tie of like, there's an emotional component. I suck. Why does everyone else do this? And then I feel so guilty for not working out again. There's no emotion tied to it. It's a data point. Did I work out today? No. Okay. Why? Well, I was overwhelmed. Da 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 da. I didn't plan my day as well. I had cramps and didn't feel good. I just didn't want to go. Okay, I can own that. What will I do tomorrow? I always have a choice. We hold the power 100%. Tomorrow, I'm going to go. Because they say if you miss one day, that's great. You miss 2 days, it starts the habit of allowing yourself to skip. And so the next day, you wake up and you choose something. But you don't have to get a full workout in, get a half workout. Just go to the gym and just walk. You always have a choice of doing something. It does not need to be the all or nothing. That's the next thing I had to get rid of. Is something is better than nothing. It still moves me in my right direction. And when I have the power and I choose, as I tell my clients all the time, what are we going to do tomorrow? Right? If you're like, I don't have it in me or the time to do a full workout. Okay, then don't. And they're like, well, I thought I had to get the benefits. No, you're going to get more benefits from doing half of a workout than none, mostly because you can check the box off. I only told myself I was going to do half a workout. So the mental beating up isn't there because you did what you set out to do. The other thing would be is like in my app, there's like a full program, a shorter version, a 15-minute, 20-minute follow along hit workout I do with you, or we walk, or it's a rest day. You have a choice every day. So you get to choose, you hold the power, so you lay in bed at night still proud of what you've done. Even if you're like, I can't exercise today, I don't have it in me, but I chose to walk. And you cross it off. That's it. There's no beating up because you didn't get this done. You wouldn't have done anything, but because you hold the power, you chose to walk. And then that's your choice. It's what your body needed that day. And then the next day you're like, okay, like I'm going to make time. I'm going to prioritize. I've got my schedule every hour by hour. I'm committing to when I'm going to do it. And then we do it, right? And sometimes we have to work back on what's the resistance with clients. Like, why are you not going, right? And it's like almost a therapy appointment of working backwards. And we always get down to the why, and then we fix that, and we can apply that to other habits. So please just remember you can do these things. Don't bite off more than you can chew. We give ourselves unrealistic expectations when what you can accomplish. So to wrap that up, look at your week. Are you working doubles? Are you a single mom? Can you only come home and only have so many hours? What is a bigger priority? The grass that's at 11 inches, which I will admit I let grow once. I even took a ruler out there because I was like, oh my gosh, my life's falling apart. Like I can't get the lawn mown. And I was out there in the dark holding my flashlight trying to mow, and it kept stopping and stopping because I'd let it get too long, right? And I had moments where I sat and I bawled on my back steps and I picked myself up and I finished it. And I was like, that's a bucket and non-negotiable. I will never let get away from me again. And you just pivot. But I didn't beat myself up as being, I was overwhelmed. I let it out. I cried. And then I was like, okay. And it's a data point. Can't let it get to 11 inches again. I don't like how I feel. Great, duly noted. And we move forward. I say this very easily, like it's something easy to do. But I promise you, when you work on these things and you step back and give yourself grace, it is worth the struggle of trying to shift these things in the way you think for the peace that will come. Which would you rather have? Because they're both hard. Shifting some of these things and how we think and trying to prioritize or saying no to somebody, instead of saying yes, 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 sure, taking on things you know you don't have the capability of doing, right? That's hard than having to do it all and then the beating ourselves up. Or is it too hard to work on doing these things, to get any sort of movement in and commit to yourself, right? But allow yourself to not get the full workout if you can't do it. So we just have to look at what am I capable this week? Do I have sick kids at home? Okay, I'm not going to get as much done. Am I traveling? Okay, not going to get as much done. Am I in my house? Nope, not getting as much done. Not home at all. There's going to be no non-negotiable for the cleaning this week. And that's okay. Your house is still messy, but it wasn't on the docket because you knew you're giving yourself grace because you have too much to do this week. This is how we manage the thoughts in our head. Because think of this with health and fitness. This is another thought is with any of the clients I talk to, they really do. We beat ourselves up and we feel so guilty for like, let's say not getting a workout in or having what they call a cheat meal, which I don't like that word. I splurged, right? I did these things and they feel really terrible. Why can't I stick with the plan? And I said, can I ask you a question? So these are data points. Your data point is you didn't get the workout in. Your data point is you had a piece of cake, or your data point is you had some alcohol. It's just a data point. It's a blip in what you did during the day. Just like you also made your bed, or maybe you didn't clean the bathroom, or maybe you yelled at someone, or maybe you gave someone a hug. They're all data points, right? It's just duly noted an accounting of your day. But if you don't clean the toilet and you told yourself you would that day, do you beat yourself up? You're like, no, I just do it the next day. Okay, but if you miss a workout, do you beat yourself up? Oh yeah. Why don't you just treat it as a data point of I didn't get it done, analyze why, right? Which I can help you walk through. And then we do something different the next day. So it's like budgeting. You get your credit card back after like a weekend away with the girls, and your spouse is like, where did you spend $2,000? And you're like, I don't know. Like, let's look at it. And you're like, holy crap, I spent some here, 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 and here, right? I got shoes, I got a purse, I got a pedicure, I don't know. And it might be a little overwhelming, but you're like, it was a wonderful weekend, and I'm not going to feel like a terrible person, right? It's just like, this is how I spent the money. And so this during the day, how do you spend your time? It's the same thing. It's just a data point of instead of I spent, $100 at Nordstrom and $500 at Target, how did you spend your time during the day? They're data points. What did you do? And so then when it didn't get done, okay, the day's done. Don't beat yourself up. Shift your thinking to then think, well, what do I want to do different? Do I like how I feel not getting it done? No. Okay. So why didn't I get it done? Let's work backwards. I ask a lot of why questions. And the next day, we come up with a different plan and we adjust it because maybe we're trying to do too much. And then it's manageable. And then you fall in bed at night feeling comfortable with what you got done instead of what you didn't get done. And so it's the outlook we have. We're giving ourselves too much. We're saying yes to things we know we don't have the capability of doing. You're already struggling. You're already overwhelmed. Then we add any mental health issues that we might be going through, or through divorce where you feel like a zombie for so long, but you're trying to show up the very best that you can. It's heavy. So make your load lighter. Sometimes being a mom is very overwhelming. There's no way to describe it. There's so much joy, but it's heavy. Sometimes running a business, being an employee, not getting paid enough, being in an unhealthy relationship. And it goes on and on, taking care of, sick family or friends, or maybe you're sick, you've got bad diagnosis of something. Those are heavy. Let your life shift with that heavy. And then find ways to give yourself grace, realistic expectations. Things that you accomplish during the day is a data point, right? Your worth is not based off if you got the toilet cleaned or not, or if you volunteered in school or not, or if you got the workout and hurt your protein or not, right? Those have nothing to do with your worth. Your worth does not shift based on your to-do list. So when we think of all the billions of things that need to get done and it races through our head, I want you to think of, in conclusion, I want you to think of what am I capable of doing this week? Where's my mental health? How tired am I? How much sleep am I going to get? How much help do I have? How busy am I? Right? Do I have people in town? What's going on? Okay, out of those 16 hours, my effort level is not going to be very high. So let's give me some grace. I'm going to accomplish non-negotiables of maybe 3. Some other weeks you might be able to do 5. Pick your buckets, write it out. What do you want to do? What brings you joy? What things do you have to get done? Because we got to clean toilets, we got to do dishes, we got to feed children over and over and over again, right? And you do need to prioritize yourself. You need to prioritize movement in some form. You need to prioritize healthy eating in some form because you will not function if these two things are there because they're going to make you feel like crap. I promise you. And then we add, body fat. Movement is hard. Our clothes are not fitting the same. And then that rabbit hole is so much worse and a whole other level of like not loving and accepting our bodies. But that is an outward reflection of our habits and our mindset and our priorities and our non-negotiables. The body, how tired you are, the amount of energy you have, our body fat levels, everything, right? The body is like the last thing that just says, hey, this is representation and reflection of everything else. So when we can give ourselves grace, limit the things we do, stop saying yes to everything. You are still an amazing person if you don't say yes to literally everything that comes through. Put up some boundaries, tell them, yes, I can do it, but not now, maybe later. Ask for help. We are all here. Find a coach to walk you through all this. This is what I do with one-on-one clients. Find help. It does not have to be heavy alone, and the noises will slow. They are data points. Don't forget that. They are data points. You are not less than anyone else because you don't shave your legs, you don't get your protein in, you didn't hit your steps. The scale is not where you want. The number on the scale is just a data point. That is all that it is. It just says, yep, all the things, the life choices we're doing and the stress levels we're under, this is kind of the reflection of our body. So my body needs love. My body needs some attention. My body needs some healing. It needs some less stress. It needs to start to love itself. And so it all comes together. You are not alone in this. I mean it when I say I see you. I have been here. I have never been more stressed in my life with the amount of to-dos to do as I have. Like my body is blown up with inflammation. I've talked a lot about this. Literally, like I figured out how to de-stress, central nervous system issues. Oh my gosh, anti-inflammatory diets. I lost 10 pounds in 7 days. That's how inflamed I was. And I thought it was body fat. And I'm like, what is going on with me? And I now feel so much better. So taking care of myself is what runs everything else. You have to at some point prioritize you, right? I'm giving you permission. You have to prioritize you. It just depends on what great amount do you want to do that, right? How much can you handle? Can you just take a few more steps today? Eat one more home cooked meal instead of going out. One less drink today, right? To no, I'm ready. I want to see changes. I want a different body and how it feels and how it moves and how it looks and how I show up. I don't want my kids remembering me this way. I need to show up better, right? That's when you reach out for help. That's why I'm here and every other coach. So you guys just need to quiet the voices and the noise, but you are in control of that. And it's okay if you need help. It's taken me years to get here, but I promise you, you can do it because the peace is so much greater. Oh my gosh, so much greater. And remember, your worth is not tied to your to-do list. You are amazing regardless. It's just a matter of you figuring out how to prioritize what you're capable of doing and then focusing on that each week, giving yourself grace. So, in any way that I can help you guys, I'm here. We'll keep sharing these things because I want you to see the results that you want, and I want you to feel good, and I want you to show up the best you can every day.